Okay, we have some spicy patch notes this time. The patch will take place on March 16th and it will be between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. KST. Weekly and daily resets will take place after the 12. So just a reminder that you should be finishing all your mirror dungeon runs and whatever battle pass rewards that you need to claim beforehand. We are also getting a Rodion only banner featuring 3-star Henchwoman, 2-star LCCB, and Corp, as well as the 1-star LCB version. So starting off with a disclaimer, you should pull who you want. I'm just telling you my experience of the units. Your mileage may vary because it may depend on what egos you're trying to build for or what kind of team comps you're trying to build for. So for 3-star Rodion, she's generally a pretty good unit. She supports bleed teams, but it's not really a core part of bleed. She has decent clash, not the best, and is a little bit gimped because she currently runs on poise, and poise isn't in a good place right now. I look at the stats, she has about average speed, average HP, and average defense, and all of this really makes her kind of a henchwoman, a support, but not the main character. On the bright side, she does feed her ego pretty well with 3 Gloom and 1 Pride. So she's got that going for her. Moving on, we got Corp. I wanted to talk about Corp before this banner was announced, but since it was, I shall just do the review here. She's frankly very good. She does have a very low HP of 138, but she has 3 to 7 speed, so she can intercept a lot of attacks. She has a crazy overloaded kit. She has bleeds, she has nails, she has fanatic, she has paralyze, and she even has more damage if she has fanaticism. And all these coins have pretty decent clash power. Her passive is also a very rare passive as it's pretty consistent. All you need to do is kill people, but you do need to build around having 3 Wrath most of the time. So I guess that's the one team building block that you need to get through. But the passive is very good. It's pretty good to build around. It feeds her more fanatic if she kills, and if it doesn't kill, it will always give her haste and damage up if someone else kills. So if you add that onto a crazy speed and damage, you have a very strong unit, a very strong DPS. So if you don't have her yet, I give her a pretty high rating, definitely a strong unit. You won't regret using her. Rodion, on the other hand, the LCCB version, I have a few mixed feelings about. She has very high growth of 0.82 per level, so that means that her offense level is pretty high. In exchange, she also has some really, really low HP of 126 and pretty good speed of 3 to 7. So she's a little bit like Corp but just has lower HP. She has paralysis, defense power down, and some mediocre coins. Although I admit that offense level does help to make up for the gap. It gives her maybe +2 against regular enemies and a +1 against a boss specifically because of the very high offense level. So the base power is usually quite okay to deal with. And I believe that the issue with her is that I really don't like that defense power down. The thing is, when most of the time you just brute force through defense skills, and if you look at it this way, she needs to hit the guy to apply it. So she's fast, she needs to clash the person, so she needs to win the clash first. So assuming she wins the clash, she furthermore needs to win the defense move to weaken the defense move, and then your future attackers will be able to benefit from that defense power down. So when you think about it that way, like, why would you go through so many hoops and ladders to try and get the defense power down when you could just brute force it with someone stronger? I will admit, I do see her being used as a tech character for when defenses get buffed or when we encounter some strong defense enemies. So she has potential in the future, but right now is not very interesting. And then moving on to the base unit. The base unit is pretty good for enemies who are weak to slash, which is why I've been mainly using my Rodion 4 in my Dungeon 3 clear. Although when I do use the base units, I do find people like Otis 0, Falf 0, and Honglu 0 do have better clashing power. On the upside though, she does have a lot of bleed and she has a 4-coin move called Slay, and that's a lot of damage actually. And also she has some pretty good ego coverage, so yeah, the 0 is pretty good. One of my favorites for enemies that are weak to slash. Or if I need to DPS someone. Okay, Unit review, finish. Let's get to the patch notes. We are finally getting some new content. Thank God. We have some typical gacha EXP and upranking farm, which is something like a Arknight CE 1 to 6 or Genshin's domain system where you go from level 1 to level 89, I believe. Yep. So we will have our same equivalent. We have an easy to hard dungeon. And it looks like they actually let you sort of infinitely grind, but it will cost Anchor Feline, so that is the limiter. And it also only gives bonus rewards for the first 3 clear per day. So similar to other gachas, the higher level you do, the more value it is. So you should just do the highest value you can, the highest level you can. And the 2 dungeons will be the EXP dungeon and the Luxcavation dungeon, which gives us the threads we need to uptie. Okay, moving on, we have some pretty major changes to Mirror Dungeon. First off, we only have bonus rewards for 3 entries per week. And in exchange for this drop, we get 250 lunacy, we get 20 pass EXP, and we also get a higher number of choosable crates. So now we get 8 of the randomized shards crates and 5 of the choose your own shards crates. They also moved the EXP from the Mirror Dungeon that we normally get to the EXP Dungeon, which is totally understandable. And then now Mirror Dungeon is more like Arknight's Weekly Annihilation or Genshin's Bi-Weekly Abyss. So to reflect this change, dailies and weeklies have also become more about doing the EXP and thread dungeons, which makes sense. And honestly, it's probably easier to clear that way. I don't like going into the tutorial stage and just going once and then quitting out. It's pretty eh. Lastly, some of the major changes that I talked about in the previous patch notes is that we are getting the damage boost per clash to 3%, nice. Getting the staggered allies don't gain action slots, which is nice. And it makes for a better combat experience because your staggered units won't be getting the actions, your unstaggered units will be getting the action. So, unfortunately, there is no more updates. They plan to move most of the other updates to the 23rd, but whatever, let Project Moon cook a little more. And then after that, a small change for the Japanese version, where they changed some descriptions, followed by 3 extraction tickets for everyone until the 23rd. And these are probably for the new dungeons to just grind the EXP and the threads. And the bug fix page is massive. Lots and lots of quality of life that is too much to say in one video. You'll probably drone out the moment I try and finish it. So I would like to just mention the main ones that I spotted, which are Paralyze is finally being fixed. So your Paralyze characters that have been sitting on the bench because they only do Paralyze, hey, you can start bringing them out. We can start trying out some Paralyze strats. So that's going to be pretty huge. In addition, we can also see the effects of buffs on coin power, such as attack up or attack down, it looks like. So quite a nice UI change. In addition, I will no longer be seeing a breaking of an abnormalities part and then watching my units try and break the part that is already broken. So that's a very nice change. I've lost a few egos when I try to break the part, and then after that the ego still fires even though the part is not there. So that is pretty nice. Now I won't have to face that again because it's a very feels bad. It wastes the ego as well. And then lastly, we have the classic 300 lunacy for maintenance. And that's about it for this patch. I hope you all look forward to the new content, and I'll definitely be making a guide on how to clear the new EXP and thread dungeons. So hope you guys stick around. Thanks for watching.